Major funding for Chatbox with David Cruz is provided by the members of the New Jersey Education Association, making public schools great for every child. Promotional support for Chatbox with David Cruz is provided by Insider NJ, a political intelligence network dedicated to New Jersey political news. Insider NJ is committed to giving serious political players an interactive forum for ideas, discussion, and insight. Online at insidernj.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Chatbox. I'm David Cruz. We got one of those Chatbox conversations for you today. 3 candidates for mayor of Jersey City are with us, and before you say it out loud, we know there are actually 7 candidates for mayor, but for our little half-hour show, 7 was never going to be an option, so we settled on 3, and how we chose them would be a story too long to tell here, so here we are. Mussab Ali is a former Board of Education president. Bill O'Dea is a Hudson County commissioner, and James Solomon is a city councilman representing Ward E. Gents, welcome. Thank you for being here. A couple of quick notes on Jersey City. Second largest city in the state, 295,000 residents, budget of $750 million roughly. So, all right, we'll start with you, Bill O'Dea. Are we better off today than we were when Steve Fulop got elected? And when I say we, I mean Jersey City.
Well, if you don't make a lot of money, the answer is no, because with rents going up and taxes going up, middle-class individuals as well as working families, as well as those who are not working, we're worse off. So
depends on where you live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mussab Ali?
Yeah, I think there's some neighborhoods that are transformed. I think some neighborhoods have gotten better, but I think a lot of neighborhoods have been forced out. I mean, you look at migration patterns from 2017 to now, 70% of Jersey City households have been forced to move. And to me, that's mass displacement that's taking place all across the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, property taxes up 50% in 5 years, thousands of luxury-only units without affordable housing. You know, I think it's clear we need real change, and I think that change starts with making sure Jersey City is more affordable. It starts with demanding developers build actually affordable homes, rents $1,000 a month, starting to protect tenants more aggressively, and keeping people in their city. And I think that's change that we need from where we've been over the last 12 years.
So I'm guessing about an average B-, C+. Yeah?
Correct.
Sure.
All right, let's go with that one. One-word answer here, really. What is hurting the city the most, Mussab Ali?
Affordability.
Councilman.
it's affordability. That's
Commissioner.
I'll say rent, because
Right. So I thought crime would come in there because it's something that gets talked about a lot. Are we not one of the safest mid-sized cities in America, Commissioner?
We've got a lot of problems in our police department. Our 911 system's broke. We stick police cars on corners and don't let them go after criminals. And we over-respond to minor offenses. So if we could correct those 3, I think we'd be on a much better track.
Councilman?
Yeah, I mean, there has been progress in reducing the murder rate, so we should celebrate that, right? A summer ago, we had no homicides in the entire summer. It was the first time in recent memory that's happened, but it's not enough. Property crimes have increased, and in particular, traffic enforcement is non-existent. Our roads are dangerous. I haven't seen a single person, or don't know a single person in Jersey City who hasn't had a close call as a pedestrian, a bicyclist, or a driver, and traffic enforcement is non-existent. So on day 1, I'm creating a traffic enforcement division, staffing it with 25 officers, fully funding our infrastructure department, and actually delivering a much safer Jersey City, as well as some of the things the commissioner said, getting rid of the fixed patrols, making sure that people are actually out, officers are out on the beat, walking around.
All right, Mussab Ali?
Yeah, I think the biggest problem we actually have is we don't even know the crime data. So crime data isn't actually published. And so we have a commitment to transparency, but also making sure that, to Councilman Solomon's point, that we have a traffic safety division and that police officers are actually walking around. And if you talk to cops, they want to walk around in neighborhoods. But right now they are tasked on sentry posts where they just have to stand on one corner the entire time, their entire shift.
Yeah.
And look, we're 150 police officers lower than we should be. When I was a councilman, we adopted a minimum policing ordinance. It hasn't been enforced at least in 8 years, maybe not 12 years, and that's dangerous because you don't have enough officers working.
Yeah, you hear a lot of when I ask about how things are, a lot of people, elected officials, others who want to be elected officials, always say it depends on where you look, right? So poor black and brown neighborhoods where violence is most common, Why do you think that you can bridge that gap? White guy from the West Side.
Because I've served on the side of the city for my entire life. I interact with black and brown communities every day for the last 40 years. I can walk in any public housing site by myself, and people know who I am. And I don't feel worried, I don't feel concerned. So my relationship with that community, my ability to help them, remember I created a program called Project Impact, increasing minority participation and access to construction trades. Over 300 women and minority men are now members of plumbing unions, painter unions, carpenter unions, because of programs like that. So, you know, when I was first elected councilman, my majority victory were the votes from the A. Harry Moore housing site, where actually I got 98% of the vote. I never forgot that, and that's always been a commitment of mine to those communities. That's why I've been angry at the city, because they eliminated free summer camps that kids used to have from those black and brown communities. So my record working with that community speaks for itself.
How about you, downtown yuppie?
You know, I think actions speak louder than words, and so I believe that I will earn trust in the whole city over time, just as I have as the downtown councilman. So if we take downtown to longtime downtown communities, Holland Gardens, Via Borinquen. I was knocking doors in Holland Gardens the other day. You know, one of the tenants said, "Look, you didn't just show up at election time. You showed up every single time we needed you, and you have our full support." And if you look in 2021, my strongest precincts in downtown were Holland Gardens and Via Borinquen, because I actually did the job, showed up, and actually responded to people's issues. And then I'm proud, having important endorsements like Councilman Gilmore in Ward F, a true independent leader, says, look, James is the right choice for mayor because he can deliver an affordable Jersey City. And I think, I genuinely say, like, my job is to build trust over time. Those actions do speak louder than words, but I'm very confident in that ability to bridge that gap as mayor.
How about you, newbie?
Look, I don't think I'd categorize myself as a newbie, particularly not in Jersey City.
Yeah.
I actually went to middle school right next to Snyder High School. So between the ages of 10 and 13, like, that was the neighborhood that I grew up in. And to me, what's so powerful is when I walk in these neighborhoods, people resonate because they see someone that looks like them. And, very quickly, I was in Curry Woods, actually, canvassing the other day, and I saw three guys who were outside, sort of just talking to one another. And when I walked up to them, they said to me, like, "Hey, we've seen your videos. We see the things you're talking about. And it's refreshing to see someone who sounds like us." And I think it's important that people recognize that there's someone in this race who's representing more than just one neighborhood, but representing the entire city.
Real quick answer, and this is a visual. Raise your hand if you speak Spanish.
I can count to 10.
I can.
A little bit of Spanish.
Ali's not even going to attempt, because the follow-up is in Spanish. No, I'm just kidding.
No, puedo hablar español, si quieres.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's stay with you, Solomon.
Yeah.
You say you're going to bring down rents. You promised something called $1,000 rental. How are you going to do that?
So, simply, when developers want to build those...
Simply?
Simply. Yeah.
Okay.
When developers want to build those giant towers, you require that they put 20% affordable in. And as part of that requirement, a portion have to be at rents that are genuinely affordable. So that's $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. So that corresponds to 30% AMI. It's already in the city code. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it mandatory for large projects. That's a different. Right now, it's part of the inclusionary zoning ordinance. It only applies on certain projects. We're going to make it mandatory and make sure that it applies on all of the large-scale developments. And then we're going to use Affordable Housing Trust Fund money to buy down some of the units at 50 and 80% MI to get to those low rentals. So it's in the plan already. It's something the city is doing, but we're going to vastly expand the number of units that it covers.
So you would keep it at those kind of restrictions or requirements for larger scale developments?
Correct.
Above 10 units? What?
Probably around 50. We'll do the analysis when we get in, but that's roughly the scope of the large-scale developments to get, because you have to target the large-scale developments to get the number of units that we need to address the affordable housing crisis in the city.
Mussab Ali, free buses? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, so we have a proposal for a fast and free bus system. Right now, the city spends $7.8 million a year on VIA, which is basically like an Uber system. So every time someone gets on a VIA, they pay $2, but the city pays an additional $13 subsidy for every single rider. We think it's more efficient to have fixed route transit. And so what we believe is we're going to have a $6.5 million bus system that's going to have 4 routes that connect the entire city. And the reason it's going to be fast is because 80% of the traffic signals in Jersey City are city-run. So you can actually put a transponder inside the bus. Every time it goes to a light, it gets a green light, and now it's the fastest way to get around town.
Are you saying and agreeing?
It's a good. The transponder system that Mussab is talking about is the thing that we should use to make our buses run faster.
All right. Commissioner, how does a 4-year budget cycle work? You proposed that, and why do you think the city council is going to go for that?
Well, the city council doesn't go for it. You vote every year.
Yeah.
But you analyze and lay out the 4 years of your budget. So this year, this is our gap. We fill this much of the gap this year with recurring revenue. This year, you fill this much of a gap. This year, and so by the end of the 4 years, you've balanced a budget that has a $100 million operating deficit. I got to comment on affordable housing because you didn't ask me that.
Yep.
My plan's 2,800 units, 1,400 completed, 1,400 under construction. I've done 750 units of affordable housing. People
What does
come
that
to
mean
me.
when you say you've done?
I put together the financing, compliance work on them. So
In your capacity as a county commissioner?
no,
or?
in my capacity as the executive director of a not-for-profit development company,
Right.
including one project that you could see when you look out your window over on McCarter Highway. So I know how to do it. I know how to do the economics. Plans sound good, but you got to have somebody that actually knows how to do it, knows exactly how much subsidy you need. So for a smaller building or smaller height, you need about $200,000 a unit in subsidy. For the bigger buildings that James is talking about, you're looking at $400,000 to $450,000 per unit in subsidy when you want to get that down to a 30% AMI number.
I can't always tell if you're smiling in agreement or if you're smiling skeptically.
No, I mean, look, I think for me, the key is who can deliver on that promise of truly affordable housing. And I think my sort of distinction from the other candidates is I don't take money from developers. And too often developers have gotten sweetheart deals in Jersey City. And they've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into the campaigns of my opponent, including the former governor, but also including the commissioner. And so I think you need genuine independence from the real estate industry to actually get what we want, because too often we see these guys get deal after deal after deal. So to me, the ability to deliver on affordable housing starts with independence from development interests, and I am the truly independent candidate from the developer.
And I just
The
want to
flip
make
side
sure.
is, the flip side is, because you mentioned me, is in 6 years you have no affordable units downtown. You've been on the city council. There have been projects that have gone there, and they haven't done affordable housing.
But
so a lot of
again,
concerns is, will they happen when you're there?
Let me get Ali in, and then you can respond again.
Just
you
two
mentioned me
two
first.
points that I want to make here. First, I've taken less money from the real estate lobby than Councilman Solomon has. So
Not true. But
Less money then,
less
or
money,
no money?
Not
less
true.
money from
Less
the real estate
money.
lobby as a whole.
Not true.
That's 100% true. We
Not
can look
true.
at the
Okay,
filings.
says
And the
that.
second thing here is I'm the only candidate that doesn't take money from city contractors or city vendors. Councilman Solomon had an insurance broker who donated $10,000.
This is simply not
He
true.
voted for that
How does
contract.
this help you
And then
and then
provide?
gave an additional $40,000 to him.
How does it help you provide more affordable housing?
It provides us the opportunity to be independent of any contractor or any city vendor.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when it comes to affordability, what we want to do is change zoning across the city. We're talking about 40% of the city is currently in exclusionary zoning practice in R1 zoning. We want to transform that to R2 zoning.
You speak English for the.
Yeah, so
you go.
from
There you
single
go.
family, we want to take
R1
it.
means what?
R1 means single family zoning.
Single family.
We want to transform it into multifamily zoning. And what that would do is
You want to do that,
We
you're
want
saying.
to do that.
Okay.
What that would do is you could take, for instance, an example project, someone that has 1 unit, convert that into 4 units, right? To give them the opportunity to build 4 units. And then one of those units would be deed-restricted affordable housing. So now you build affordable housing not just in some of these big companies, but also all across the city.
Yeah, so just want to go back and sort of correct the record here in terms of what we've done downtown. So project advancing with affordable housing, 72 Montgomery, 660 Grove, 619 Marin, St. Lucy's, all of them have moved forward because of work that I have done. Now across the city, I was the deciding vote on the council to advance the Bayfront project. Literally, if I didn't vote for it, wasn't part of the full
big
administration.
project on the west side.
That project would have failed, and that is a project that's going to deliver thousands of units of affordable housing. And I've also supported projects like 701 Newark. But again, with respect to the commissioner saying you've given 750 affordable units,
I'll give you the names of the projects.
but you've had 50 years to do it.
I haven't had 50 years to do it.
I don't think
I
that's
would
a
say
great
in the
record
last
to say.
10 or
right?
12 years I've done it.
Right.
And as for Bayfront,
but it's been over the course of half a century in public office.
When they had the shovel groundbreaking there, Mayor Fulop credited me for all the work I've done for so many years to bring Bayfront to where it was, up to and including finding out how to use tax-exempt bonds to close the financing gap, or otherwise you wouldn't have it. So you cast a vote on the city council, great. the mayor gives me credit for the years I've worked on that project, but also recognize the fact that I figured out how to close a financing gap to make the economics of it work.
All right, let me move on.
That speaks
from
for
this, right?
itself.
This is a kind of quick answer, if you can. What one skill do you have that makes you uniquely qualified to run this place? We'll start with you. Short.
Sure. Being on the city council, I know exactly in the administration who we want to keep to deliver good work, and I know who we need to let go to actually deliver a city that works. So on day one, we're coming in, there's no learning curve, we're going to get the city working the way it needs to be.
Do you need experience in the city council or the county commission to run this place?
Look, I've served
What's your one skill that you bring?
Yeah, look, so I've served for 4 years on the Board of Education and had to close massive budget gaps because of all the money that the governor took away from us. But I think the most important skill that I have is understanding the law, right? Like going to law school and understanding the way that the law interacts with our day-to-day lives, because that is the most important thing that the mayor is going to be doing.
I feel like you wanted to say something.
No, so what I would say is two things. One, extensive legislative experience, both in the city council, but now as a county commissioner, where I've proven that things have gotten done, but I've also run something. I've actually run something. I've actually overseen a budget. I've actually had to hire people, fire people. That's an important part of, I think, what a job is. And I've been successful at running that nonprofit.
All right. Fulop, the mayor, has been mentioned a couple of times. This is a quick yes or no. Will you take a Fulop endorsement?
No.
No. Will you take a Fulop endorsement?
I don't think he's endorsing anybody.
Oh, really?
No.
So if the endorsement was offered, you would say no, and you would say no.
Exactly.
You would say, eh.
Well, I think for me, right, there's definitely things the mayor has done. Talk Bayfront, right, a project he deserves a ton of credit for.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I am running to deliver change for Jersey City. Jersey City has become one of the most expensive cities in the entire country. Property taxes up 50% in 5 years, rent up a similar amount. We need to change from that direction. We can't keep doing the status quo. We can't keep doing what we've done.
I know all of you guys
agree.
say that, but my question here is, downtown is done, right? Downtown is never going to be affordable. I don't know why you think that it's going to be affordable, but the incentives are just not there.
Well, to say what we can do, right? I think what is the art of the possible, right? There are still, yes, downtown will never be, affordable, but there are still thousands and thousands of units that are homes that are going to be built. We have to ensure that those are affordable, not just downtown, but across the whole city.
Across the city.
So there is much more development that's coming to Jersey City, and you've got to redirect it from the luxury-only model to an affordable model.
So here's two things I would say on Fulop. First, when he was elected mayor first, he offered me the business administrator's job. If I took it, maybe we'd be in a lot better position than we are today. Secondly, a lot of the issues that James talks about, he's been on the city council. It's okay to vote against stuff, but if you look at me as a county commissioner, and when there were battles, the extent or the degree in which I would fight, like when I fought against the renewal of the ICE contract, that got me punished, removed as the vice chairman, kicked off a public safety committee. You got to be out there stronger. You got to scream, yell, and holler sometimes. It's just not enough to say, oh, it's wrong, it's broken. I vote no.
Yeah. And I just want to say,
anything you want to add on
very
Fulop?
quickly. I mean, I've had public fights with Steve Fulop because of the school funding formula. When we were being ripped funding away from the governor's office, instead of the mayor fighting with us against the governor's office, he sort of threw us under the bus. And to me, that was our biggest disagreement, that this is somebody that doesn't think education is something that matters to the mayor. And we want to make sure that in our administration, education will be a priority.
Well, I want to sue the state, have every legislator from Hudson County not vote for a budget until the funding formula that gives Patterson $583 million and Jersey City only $148 million gets rectified. If we do that alone, we can improve our education system and stabilize our taxes.
All right.
Now, not everybody running is willing to go to the state and fight them and go to court and fight them to the extent that some of us may be willing.
This question may suggest that it requires a long answer, but please keep it short.
Yeah.
Name one outside-the-box thing that we can expect from your administration.
So I think the biggest thing that you can expect from us is the fast and free bus proposal. I mean, this is something that is revolutionary. It's something that's being done in Hoboken and can be done in Jersey City. We can afford to do it. We have the money to do it, and it will connect all the different neighborhoods across our city.
All right, Commissioner.
So they're outside the box because they've taken them outside the box over the years. Bring back a housing court. That's why these fines aren't being levied and these landlords are getting away with bloody murder.
Yep.
And a rent receivership program. Because these buildings that are being allowed to be run down, forcing tenants out, and then allowing landlords to come in, fix them up, and triple the rents, Those two things alone will do more to address the affordable housing problem for existing people that live in our town than anything else.
Councilman, one outside the box thing we can expect from your administration.
Yeah. I'm proud to be running on the strongest anti-corruption platform of any candidate in the race, and in particular, we want a municipal inspector general, which Gretel the Walking is. There's going to be an independent person with subpoena power looking to find corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse in city government. It will save taxpayers money, and folks will know that there's someone watching, because right now people feel impunity because there is no one actually trying to root out corruption in Jersey City.
Now, let me ask you this, the school system is a whole other half hour at least that we could talk about.
Sure.
So we're going to give it 30 seconds. Changes to the school system. Would you accept or encourage or vote for mayor control?
No. Again, I've served on the school board for 4 years. I'm the only one here that has that experience. I know what it means to be on that school board. I think it's important that it's independent, but I do think that the mayor should make endorsements every single year and also hold themselves accountable to those outcomes. Look, the most important service a city provides is education. And the number one indicator of when someone is moving out of Jersey City is when their kids turn 5 years old.
Yeah.
When the mayor controlled the appointments, it was corrupt, and the state took it over. So that new position he has will be so busy watching what's going on there. It would be a total disaster. The mayor can partner, but they should not have the power to appoint him. Historically, they appoint their deputy mayors, who are their political appointments, to go to a school board, and they know nothing about children or have any children in the school system.
Yes or no on that, mayor control?
No, I mean, I think what we need to do, as Mussab said, is get engaged in school board elections. I was proud in 2024 to endorse just 2 fed-up public school parents. I'm a public school parent. All of us felt like we are not getting the education we need for our kids, given the billion-dollar budget. They won because, despite having no money, because parents were frustrated. We're doing that again, supporting 3 change candidates, and I genuinely think we need to bring change to our school board to deliver a significantly better and higher quality public education, and I think the way to do it as mayor is using the bully pulpit to get it done.
All right, these are kind of super local and probably mostly of interest to me, but...
There you go.
I appreciate that.
It's your show.
That's right.
It's your show.
You're allowed to do that.
Tax breaks for the Pompidou Museum in Journal Square. Will you kill that deal if you're mayor? Let's start with the guy who's in that ward.
Yeah, I mean, all of us want to kill that deal.
Yeah, that's
so
an easy one.
that's an easy question.
100%.
Under
Can't waste
no-
another dollar on it.
Under no circumstances do you think it...
It's not financeable. It's $250 million smoke and mirrors budget hole. Like, I mean, we've got such core issues in the city, lack of affordable housing enforcement, lack of basic infrastructure improvements and transit. We cannot waste another cent.
Yeah, and the operating deficit on an annual basis, no one has the money for it.
Yeah.
So besides getting it built and how you figure out where all the money comes to build it, every year it's losing money, going down the dark hole. And without that money, we're making things worse even than they are now.
I mean, listen, if the Kushners and the Trump administration wanted to fully fund it for the next 50 years, yeah, sure, we'll take it. But
Well,
in the current administration,
I
it's
wouldn't
not
believe
gonna
them if
work.
they told us that anyway.
Here's another question that you guys may not even know this. The Jersey City Museum, the old museum, the collection is no longer in
Jersey. It's in
Jersey
Rutgers.
City.
Right.
Yep.
It was donated to the
town.
Zimmerli Art Museum at Rutgers University in New Brunswick in 2018. The current mayor called it the collection parochial. Will you promise to bring back this important part of Jersey City's history?
I will do everything in my power to bring it back. We deserve to have it. It's a great Jersey City collection, and we should be in the Apple Tree House, and that's where it should be its home.
Yeah.
I'd love to bring it back. Apple Tree House is a great place to have it. But we need to get corporate and other folks to do some of the financial subsidies for the operations of it, because otherwise the hole's not going to be as big as the Pompidou. But if it's even $1 million a year, and we've got to go into the coffers of the budget, then we're going to lose programs for kids, whether they're camps or other programs that we need more for the people that live in us.
You going to bring it home, Mussab Ali?
We're going to bring it home. I'm a proud Rutgers alum, so proud to talk to those folks and make it happen. But I think to the point the commissioner's making, we want to build a Department of Philanthropy and actually talk to corporations. Look, we're sitting in the city of Newark. There's the Prudential Foundation, MCJ Amelia Foundation, Victoria Foundation. The Devils have a foundation here. But if you go to Jersey City, there's not a single foundation that you can point to, despite the fact that we have Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and Verisk. So to me, it's really important that our corporate partners start to play a bigger role in what does it mean to be from Jersey City.
You've talked about this before, about the parking fees, the taxes, the corporate taxes.
Yeah.
Our corporate community, the Jersey City's corporate community, have underperformed,
100%.
haven't they?
They need to pay what they owe. We did
I
audits.
mean, even aside from those
The
taxes and
yeah,
whatnot?
absolutely. So both obviously have to pay what they owe. We've audited, they haven't done it. But then to your point, yes, they need to be more civically engaged. They need to say, this is our home. We're going to open our doors to the young people of Jersey City for internships and opportunities. We're going to invest more money into philanthropy in Jersey City.
Let me give Commissioner the last 30 seconds of our conversation.
Oh, so to get back to audits, in 20...
No. Tell me something bad about the corporate community.
No, I'm talking about
All right,
auditing
go,
tax
go.
abatements.
Okay, good,
And
good,
the
good.
city's failure to audit tax abatements, even after the Board of Education gave them a list and said, hey, here's the problem. Here's the taxes that aren't being paid. So the failure of the city to audit properly tax abatements, since Maureen Cosgrove left as a tax collector, has probably cost the city at least $10 million a year. Day one, go in, do it. There used to be an office of tax abatement compliance. It disappeared.
All right. Mussab Ali, give you 15 seconds. How terrible the corporate community has performed.
Look, I think that the corporations just aren't doing enough. And I think that, as a city, we need to transform the way we think about philanthropy. We need to transform the way we think about dreams. I think that in Jersey City, so often we've been overshadowed by New York, and we need to allow the people of Jersey City to start to dream bigger.
All right. Cultural change probably needed across the board.
Agreed.
Anyway, Mussab Ali, Bill O'Dea, James Solomon, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having me.
And that's Chatbox this week. We're on Blue Sky now. You can follow us there at David Cruz NJ. And scan the QR code on your screen for more Chatbox. I'm David Cruz. For all the crew here at Gateway Center in downtown Newark, we thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.